to the Hookup On Music with your host, Tony Bird.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special Monday night Hookup On Music. I'm going to have a couple episodes this week, so please look out for them. I'm going to have a guest this Wednesday. The amazing, magnificent Stan will be joining me, so please check out for that episode. But until that point, how's everybody doing out there tonight? Hopefully pretty well. Hopefully jamming out on some tunes on the way home. Or we're on the way home, and now you are listening. I appreciate all of your camaraderie, and I am Tony B, and I am the Hookup On Music, and I am here tonight to bring you a lot of different topics here or there. But let's get started. Unfortunately, we always lately starting the show with some very sad news, and today we unfortunately lost the great James Chambers, better known as Jimmy Cliff, the great singer, part of the amazing The Harder They Come, but also a lot of different songs. Many Rivers to Cross, you can get it if you really want it. Reggae Night, does a really good cover of Cat Stevens' Wild World, but unfortunately passed away. Just really kind of actually shocking, because, shocking to me because, when you're jamming out on a lot of this reggae that I happen to, and Jimmy Cliff is one of the greats, you just happen to get lost and want to know just kind of that they're doing good and they're having a good time wherever they're at. But sadly, passed away, which is really crazy, of pneumonia, which is crazy. He was also hospitalized recently for a seizure, so it seems that he is at peace now. If you're looking for what can I jam out on for him, please go to 1971's Another Cycle, the album before The Harder They Come. Could give you a little bit of a background at just who Jimmy Cliff was and what he was bringing to the table. The production took place and was recorded in Muscle Shoals in Alabama, which is really great when you really think about it. That would be recorded there, but definitely the feelings and the vibes you get off of this are definitely screaming at you in a whole bunch of different ways. Okay, How I Miss You is a good one. Another Cycle is a good one. Take a Look at Yourself, The Rap, Our Thing Is Over. Gaily Bright ends the album, which is really, really good. If you're looking for some positive Jimmy Cliff jams, I would dig into those. Those definitely will not set you back. But you may say to yourself, that's got to be it, right? No more sadness, no more passings. Yes, unfortunately, there was another passing last week on the 21st, end of the week. The great Jellybean Johnson passed away. Me personally am a huge fan of The Time and a huge fan of that whole Minneapolis, Minnesota music scene, which we've talked about plenty of times here on the show. But being a founding member of The Time is no slouch at all to be a part of. And also being a part of the Great Ice Cream Castle album, which we have talked about several times. Also playing on What Time Is It? And of course, The Time. A really good, honest player. Did a really, really good job. He also produced some Janet Jackson, the song Black Cat. But after The Time broke up, he worked as a producer and a musician for a long time, also playing the guitar, which was cool because he could play drums and the guitar. He rejoined The Time for the film Graffiti Bridge, which is really, really awesome. He also collaborated with Rihanna. Sad again, we're just losing these greats that are just passing away. So rest in peace to Jellybean Johnson. Go back and check out those first 4 or 5 Time albums, and you'll understand why it is such a sadness that we have lost the great Jellybean Johnson. So Jimmy Cliff, Jellybean Johnson, rest in peace. Play their music loud and proud because it is really good and it is not disappointing at all to dig into. I mean, The Time is just, you got to have the time. You got to have the time for the time. You just gotta make time for the time. That's what I say. Make time for the time. But let's get started in here tonight. Let's maybe change the tides to maybe a little bit more positive and see really what we are truly working with tonight. We are working with some really good stuff here, and I can't tell you enough. Again, just thankfulness this week. I mean, it is Thanksgiving, so being thankful for music is really, 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 really awesome. If you out there have never taken some time and went on the YouTube and looked up something called the Tiny Desk Concert, please take some time whenever you do get a little bit of time and check that out. You will not be disappointed by an array of performances. Recent performances by artists like the great Tame Impala is really good. Guar puts on an excellent tiny music concert. Fish, if you're looking online and see the picture, um, really, 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 really good stuff there. Not to be disappointing at all. You're looking to dig in deeper to an artist, see how they play a little bit live, what they got going on. This Tiny Desk Concert is a really good opportunity for you to just see that and see kind of what it is all about, really, when you're watching it. I mean, generally, artists who are wanting to showcase some new music from a new album, this is a great place to do it. It's small, it's intimate. It lets the artists kind of dig a little bit deeper into what they're doing and their instruments when you really think about it. You don't always get to what's the word I'm looking for? Just what's the word? Just get the jam out like this when you got a show like this. But if you definitely haven't, I would say definitely take some time to look into this because it's really good. Um, I've spent a lot of time just going through and seeing the different bands that have played on this, which is you would be shocked at all the different ones. I mean, Bleachers have played, which St. Paul and the Broken Bones have played. Tyler the Creator has played. Adele has played. Um, they showcase every genre. Okay, they're digging into hip hop, rock, jazz, folk. You've got a lot of different stuff on here. You've had the Doobie Brothers on here. Um, you've had even something as long as Mac Miller and Chance the Rapper have been on here. You've had Block Party, Alt J. Okay, you've got a whole lot of different stuff. And if you got the time this week, it's a really good time to dig in to see what that is all about. I really don't think you'd be disappointed. Have not talked to about it too much on here, but it's definitely worth it. Your price and gold and time and all of that and all of the silliness in which I am stating here tonight. So thank you for listening about the Tiny Desk Concert. So check that out. Let us know over here which one is your favorite, and we'll talk about it more in depth because they go really, really good with some of the music. The most recent one that I caught, the Plant himself, the only Plant, Robert Plant, went on there and he jammed. He jammed on Gallows Pole, Zeppelin. He jammed on some solo stuff. The jamming was fulfilled. Let me just put it to you that way. And Robert definitely doesn't have any problems when it comes to the old jamming category, but definitely would be do you good to take some time and dig into what they're doing down there on the old on the old tiny desk. Which you're saying to yourself, why do they call this? Because they're like literally crammed in there, which is cool. Because even a band like Tame Impala, who can't bring all of their technology into this setup because there's just not enough room. Sometimes you got to strip back, get low, see what else is going down, and well, you know what's going down. A real good recording. So, like I said, take some time and check that out. I swear you won't be disappointed. I was thinking about this Thanksgiving, and I was thinking of all the artists who work together and sometimes even has siblings in the band, and sometimes you got these fallings outs, and honestly, your family. You know what I'm saying? Your family. So when Credence really got into it towards the end of their career, it really sadly spelled the ending of the Tom and John Fogerty family, um, which is sad in a way when you think about it. A band, your family, you break up, you argue. That's just the way it is sometimes, but you should always get together as family. Um, so I often think about that sometimes. I often think about a lot of band members who have come and gone, no matter if they were related or not. Um, do they spend time together like during the holidays, or do the holidays just kind of go? Um, do the holidays just kind of go back and just kind of chill, or do you just kind of spend them apart? Really kind of a crazy concept to think about. I mean, because recently we had Oasis getting back together, and now it's the holidays, and I know they're touring, and but you say to yourself, because you've been doing this good tour together, is bygones bygones, and are the holidays going to be a special time? That's kind of crazy. Um, that some bands might never see each other again once they break up. Other people, maybe you stay in contact. Maybe some band members stay in contact with the band member that left. But just a very interesting concept that often runs through my mind, especially during the holidays. We all sometimes spend a little time listening to the music extra loud because maybe there's just some family or some family drama you're not wanting to get yourself mixed up into. And you wonder, like, at like some of these family functions, like the Black Crows are back together again. Family seems to be on the forefront of what brought them together. Their kids got the band back together, but now is it good enough for everybody to be sitting down at Thanksgiving and sharing a turkey leg? I don't know. It's always just a very interesting concept, especially around the holidays. Or at this point, you just kind of stay into your own zone and your own world, and and just say, you know what, I got my life, they got their life. That's just the way it is. Also very interesting is, what do you feel about when a band, let's say a band like Bad Company, they move on from Paul Rogers, okay? Recently, a couple weeks ago, they get back into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they don't recognize a singer that was in the band for 10 years. Is that because he didn't have any hits, or that that era of the band wasn't as successful? Do you think he should still be recognized? Or do you think there's a reason why his the music in which was made with that band didn't go as far as possibly it could? These are often questions that when you're looking deeper into some albums or bands that you've listened to, you know, all the albums in the 80s that came out from bands that, let's say, you're not familiar with. Like, a lot of people are familiar with Aerosmith mid to 70s, but from like 79 to 85, I'm pretty sure if you quizzed somebody who just randomly like Aerosmith, not going to find a lot of music that they might like from that era, and they also might not find a whole lot of Joe Perry because he's not even on half the album. Just like Paul Rogers isn't on some of these Bad Company albums. Um, or the Doors. This was always a good one here. If you're looking online, I mean, they went on and tried to make an album without Jim Morrison. You know what I mean? Like, bands who decide to keep going with somebody different. In some regards, you kind of sometimes wish they just maybe went and said, hey, you know what? This was a good run as this band. I'm gonna come up with a new band, a new vibe, but you know why they don't do that? Because it's all in the name. The name is what's important. The name is what brings people in. And as far as the Doors go, definitely a little probably disappointing to the listener when this album comes out. Well, it's very disappointing to me. I'm just talking about in the year when it was released. And you don't really get that Morrison stamp. I mean, if you're a fan of the band, Back to Back Company, um, it's a little disappointing. I mean, when AC/DC went on with Brian Johnson, they tried to put together something that was pretty close to the original span. I mean, when people pass away, that's a little bit different. But when replacing, um, you just don't know sometimes. And back to Bad Company, some people regret that they even went on. Some of the band members regret that they even went on without Paul Rogers. Sometimes you could taint a legacy by going on, or sometimes you could build some brand new stuff. It just all really depends. Um, a big thing here at the Hookup on Music is just the idea to sit down and read some good rock biographies. Um, and for everybody out there through this holiday season, I know you have time, and there's some really good ones out there. I was just personally this Saturday was at Barnes and Nobles, saw a couple biographies that honestly, as soon as I get some extra time, I'm going to dig into really, and I really can't wait to read these biographies because they got some really good stuff. But until I dig into these biographies, and some of the biographies I'm going to be digging into are a brand new one with Robbie Robertson from the band. He sits down and talks about a great friendship he had with um, before he passed away with Martin Scorsese. A lot of long nights, it sounds like. Wink, wink, nod, nod. But also, just wanting to dig deeper into any stories is really my one of my favorite things to do. In Moon, you talk about a book that honestly really woke me up to what really goes on in a rock band. Is this Moon biography? It's like, whoa, it could be tiring because boy, Moon lived a life that just really went and went and went and went and went. But you get to even hear some of the more candid of how they came up with the name The Who. You get to hear some of his escapades with some of the people who were uh, were part of some of this fun that he was this debauchery that he was a part of. I mean, you get to hear in depth some crazy stories. Um, the stories that were just with Joe Walsh, Insanity, the swimming pool story. But out there, what are some of your favorite rock biography books? Tony Iommi's Iron Man. If you have not taken the time and sat down and read this is really good stuff. You really get to hear it from his perspective, which is really what you want. You want to hear and see things that would definitely be um, not of this world. Say, Lord of this world is pretty much who Tony Iommi is, and also a Black Sabbath song. But this is the making of some of your favorite tracks. Um, the making of a song is as great as Planet Caravan. I mean, honestly, even if you want to get out away from the biography, recently on YouTube, I watched like it was like a behind the scenes documentary on the making of that song. And just to hear Tony explain how the song was created, um, just really awesome. Also, he shares the same name as me, but also it's cool to see how in these books, people are friends with people you never thought. Some of his best friends are like the drummer from Electric Light Orchestra. That's awesome. You know, Brian May from Queen. Can you imagine Tony Iommi and Brian May from Queen just hanging out? That in itself is just what I would call epic in so many different ways. But these biographies, they go deep into the goods, into the really goods, like really from Tony's perspective, the end of Ozzy era Black Sabbath, the end of Dio era Black Sabbath. Um, just really cool. And sometimes you're like, oh man, I don't know if this is I got the time. You got the time to read these, because even if you got the TV on in the background, I guarantee you start reading some of this stuff, especially if you are a fan of the band, like the Eddie Van Halen book. You're gonna just all of a sudden be like in the world of rock, and you're not gonna want to escape. And that's what makes these books so good. So please, what's your favorites rock biographies? Let us know. Drop it in the comments. Send us a link. Do something, please, because I would love to hear what you're reading when it comes to rock biographies and what are some of your favorites. Go through a lot of thoughts tonight. Another thought that has been racing through my mind earlier, I brought up Aerosmith. Are they retiring? Are they not retiring? What's really going on? Aerosmith just came out with some new music with Youngblood. What a pairing! And please take some time to maybe stay away from that one. I don't know. It's not really my cup of job. But you go ahead and listen to it and let me know. But I thought Aerosmith were done. I thought his vocal cords were blown. But I've seen him at the quite a few couple things. The Ozzy tribute. I've seen him doing some live stuff, running up on stage. Hey, good for you, Steven. I don't want to deter you. Little Feet have personally announced their last farewell, and you say to yourself, okay, they are going away. They are saying goodbye. They are leaving, so we got to go see them. Hopefully, they come to a town near you before they wrap up. They will be in the Illinois area at St. Charles at the end of May. But you say to yourself, like you go to Megadeth, who are wrapping it up, and they said they're going to be on like a farewell tour for like 4 or 5 years. That's quite the farewell. Hey, I love Megadeth. I can't say that I want them to go away any quicker. I'm just saying maybe, I've always just been bad at the farewells, because you say to yourself, are you saying last farewell because you're hoping people will come out and give you that last chunk of change? I don't know. Vibes are going to be high, though, at a lot of these shows because, like we just spoke, not anytime a band or somebody wraps something up, you want to be there to see the end, and you just don't know. I memean, they just asked if Oasis is going to do any touring in 2026, and they said no. So is that it? Are they like back to them again? Are they going to do some more touring, or is that the final farewell? But what isn't the final farewell? And please, 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 just for me, it's been a long time. If you've never listened to it, or it's listen to Run to You by Brian Adams. Two first names there, gotta love it. Brian Adams, Run to You. You talk about a song that just rocks. It's just a jam. The guitar is a jam. And what I want to speak to too is Brian Adams just came to town, and Brian Adams in his 60s is still dropping the hammer and rocking. Um, Honestly, wasn't really familiar with his game, but Brian Adams could rock. I was only familiar with like his music for like the Robin Hood soundtrack or the Three Musketeers soundtrack. But this Reckless album with the song "Run to You," it sticks. It sticks. It's like a power crunch of rock. Um, Not disappointing at all. Let me just put it to you that way. Not disappointing, and constantly a song that never has gotten old for me. That's what's always really, really good is songs that do not get old. That is where we like to go here. We don't want old songs. We want not old songs. I mean, like we don't want songs that get old to us. But they will definitely not get old to you either, hopefully. But Run to You is a classic. You gotta like that one. It's getting cold out. It was cold. What's a song that you could put on that just warms you to the feet? Cruel Summer by Bananarama is one that comes to my mind. But for you guys out there, what are some music that makes it warm when you hear it? What makes you just want to get warm, and you just move those shoulders? Yeah, let's get warm. If you're watching live, you just saw me do a ridiculous shoulder shrug. But again, we like to hear what it is that you are quote unquote staying warm to. You listen to some of it. Honestly, I was listening to some Kubla Khan earlier, TX, and that was getting me warm. Drown was getting me warm. We've talked about their newest album. It's funny because I'm talking to got Bananarama on the screen, and then I start talking about Slayer. That's what's awesome here. Slayer, Bananarama, all in the same show. You gotta like it all. It's a must. You just have to because it's just too cool if you don't. But this brings us to our final stretch of the day, and that is to our give thanks section because we give thanks. Thanks. And honestly, giving thanks is great. We want to give thanks. We need to give thanks. We must give thanks to the great music in which we listen to. So who am I giving thanks to tonight? We're going to go down a list of songs that I am just going to want to talk to you about because I want to give thanks to them. We might even hear a couple of little sound clips here. Why not? As we roll out here at the end. What's a song that I'm really thankful for? This song. You know, who isn't thankful for the amazing Beastie Boys? Who? I always love that robot at the beginning. We're thankful for him. We're thankful that the Beastie Boys made the amazing Hello Nasty, such a great album. Being thankful for good music is one of the musts here at the Hookup On Music is being thankful. Or just giving thanks. Is that what makes a thankful song? That was a conversation I had. Are Thanksgiving songs? What are some Thanksgiving songs? What do you think is a good Thanksgiving song? What are some of the ones in the past? I mean, you got to have Thanksgiving in the track. Okay. Bob Marley says, "Give thanks and praises." That's pretty good. That's a really excellent idea, I think. But also as a good idea is James Brown's Mashed Potatoes USA. I think if you are having any kind of get together this week and you are not playing Mashed Potatoes USA, I think that's going to be the name of this album, this episode. Yeah, I just gave it out here. Mashed Potatoes USA. I love that. And honestly, Mashed Potatoes USA, when you really want to come down to it, sounds to be just a jam that really is just good. And so is Mashed Potato Time. That's some DD Sharp doing Mashed Potato Time. How often are you going to hear, talking about the great Jimmy Cliff and Mashed Potato Time all on the same song? But there's a lot of mashed potatoes. The Ventures has mashed potatoes and gravy, which is gravy for the mashed potatoes is the Venture. With mashed potatoes, you got to say, is just a classic. But what's your favorite out there? Let's really quick. What's your favorite dish? Is it the old mashed potatoes? Is it beans, greens, tomatoes? Did you ever hear that song? That's really a good jam if you get it. But again, lots of good stuff here on the mashed potatoes list. Also, We Are Family is a good burner. I think We Are Family because you get together with family. Thank you for letting me be myself. That's you got to give thanks. We have talked about the great Sly Stone this year quite a few times, and him just asking for thanks for letting him be himself is, I would put that as just being him being very kind to give thanks for being himself. I don't think he's giving thanks. I don't know what he is really doing in that song. All I know is Larry Graham's bass. I am thankful for that. All right, here, folks, we're going to go through some thanks here. I am thankful that I got to go to Riot Fest this year. That was awesome. I'm also thankful for seeing Wishbone Ash this last week in Hobart. That was a great concert. Put on a lot of good shows, a lot of good songs. We've talked about the Argus album here quite a few times. That's a really good album. If you have not heard it, early 70s, dig into that early proto metal. There's some really good stuff there. I honestly want to give thanks to all of the artists who I've never heard of yet, putting out music and working their butts off. Honestly, heard a couple this week from my main man, Mike. He sent me some good stuff here, which I can't ever say enough and can't appreciate enough when he sends me this cool stuff. The Gliders, that's a good one. Sharp Pins. Check out that album by Sharp Pins. Really good. Balloon. You into some 60s psychedelia. check that out. But number one, and most importantly, I want to give thanks to all of you out there. Thank you for listening tonight. Please don't forget to tune in to Wednesday. We're going to have Brian, and we're going to be talking some music. He went to a record show. Going to dig into that and so much more stuff. So please do that tomorrow night. Though At the Show is back, and we're digging into our best book to film releases. You're not going to want to miss that. Also, go to the SadisticPenguinStudios.com and check out all the other cool stuff going on. We've been digging into James Bond. We just covered Octopussy on the last episode. Go to Sadistic Penguin Studios at YouTube, and you can check out all of that cool stuff. But as stated before, I just want to thank you so much for out there, for always coming and joining and listening and being a part of the Hookup On Music. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Like I said before, let me know into the comments what your favorite rock autobiography is. I would love to hear. But we will be back in short time on Wednesday, and we will have some more fun talking music, because that's what we love to do. Getting back, talking music, and giving thanks to all of you out there. So everyone, enjoy the rest of your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Have a good Thanksgiving. We'll see you Wednesday too. But if you happen to watch just this one, have a good Thanksgiving out there. We thank you. And my name is Tony B. This is the Hookup On Music. Have a good evening, everybody. Take care.
Thank you for listening. Please look out for the audio version wherever you jam.